Samantha from Very Nice Vegan. Lovely to see you all. It's Sunday here today. It's a little bit overcast, so weather's not fab. But what I thought I'd take you through is some of the juicing recipes that I do. Now, juicing is brilliant, it's fab. It's obviously a way of getting loads of not only amazing colours, but vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, all that sort of stuff into you. But one word of caution, in that juicing can be very high in sugar, obviously if you're doing fruits. Now, it's fine, it's obviously much better than drinking lots of other stuff that you shouldn't be drinking. But if you can stick more to the kind of green juices, they are far healthier for you. They're better for not only for your teeth, but obviously the amount of sugar going into your system is not good. And as we all know, the more sugar you have, the more your insulin rises, the more all these signals get blocked to the brain saying you should really stop because you've had too much, and before you know it, you're putting on the pounds again. And the idea of juicing obviously is to keep you fit and healthy. So I'm going to take you through my favourite green juice. This is one that I use probably most mornings when I'm sort of not fasting and things. There's not an awful lot in it. You can obviously bulk it up and put more in if you would like, add more water, less water. You might find that you need another couple of apples, for example, to make it sweeter. But I'm going to show you what I do, show you the amazing colour that it comes out, and everything else as well. So, the first thing you're going to need obviously is a juicer. Now there's lots of different juicers on the market. I've said before in my other videos about my kitchen equipment and things that I love this juicer. This is an Omega juicer. It's a slow juicer. So although it takes that little bit longer to get your juice out, it's not completely ripping all the nutrients and things out of your amazing colourful food that you're putting in, so therefore it's better for you. The slow juices are better. You can do your own research, have a look at the YouTube videos. There are lots of YouTube videos on which is the best juicer to go for, but I would recommend a slow juicer. Now there are some that are upright and there are some that are like this. Now I prefer this particular type of juicer. Again, it's all down to personal choice, but again, go and do your research. If you haven't got one, you want to buy one. The cheaper end of the market is not always a good place to go, because you end up kind of buying one of those, realising it's not great and it's very fiddly, lots of things to wash up, and then you end up having to buy a more expensive one anyway. So if I can recommend one personally, I would go with this. We don't sell them, we're not paid to advertise them. This is just something that I use and I prefer. Okay, so let's get started. I'll switch the juicer on so you can see how loud it is. It's not terribly loud. Not too bad at all really, is it? So I'll be able to talk over it. But first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to prep all our stuff to go in. Now, all of my things here, particularly things like your lettuce and your celery, you need to make sure that you wipe really, really well, okay? So give it a good wash, even if you're buying organic stuff, and obviously hopefully you are, but if you can't afford the organic, because obviously it is quite a bit more expensive, and I know lots of people just can't afford to do it, still do this because it's still better than drinking lots of other stuff, but make sure it's thoroughly washed. Okay, if you are more of a raw type vegan as well, obviously even more important if you're putting lots and lots of raw foods into you. I'm about kind of 80-90% raw at the moment, kind of heading more up towards 100%, which because I just love it, for me it works. But even more important, because obviously you're not cooking to kill off any of the bugs or anything else that might be on your food, your fruit or your veg or whatever it is you're juicing. Okay, so I'm going to start off with half a lemon. I'm going to pop that through. I've got quite a big piece of ginger here. Now I love ginger, so I will put quite a bit through, and it's obviously amazingly good for you. The other thing I sometimes put in mine is turmeric. Again, great for inflammation, for your joints, all that sort of stuff. It's not going to work if you only put it in once a week. You need to be having it regularly. But these two things, ginger and turmeric, honestly, they're just the best medicine out there. So I have a lot of those. I'm just taking the peel off. Depending on your juicer, some of them you're going to need to peel everything. You're going to need to chop it quite small before you put it in. I have to say, this particular Omega juice I'm really pleased with. I've chucked all sorts of stuff in here and it's just coped with it really well. So you don't have to peel it. I am going to on this particular one, just so you can see what I'm doing, but it's up to you. So I'm going to use a piece, probably about that sort of size, thumb size type piece, but you could chuck it all in as well, which I'd be quite tempted to, but for today I should just pop that in. I've got half a cucumber, obviously amazing things in cucumbers, particularly for your skin. It's one of the base fruits for things like collagen, so if you're looking to try and get rid of some of those wrinkles, fill out your face a little bit, cucumber is the thing to eat and drink. So with this one, I'm just going to chop it into long, thin strips. Just make it easier to go through the juicer, which you'll see in a moment. Probably cut the ginger in half. as well, just so it doesn't take too long to go through. And it's also good if you've used, say, lemon in another recipe or on your salad as part of a dressing, don't throw the lemon out when you've got most of the juice out. Put it through the juicer, get absolutely as much as you can out of that, including the rind, because I think that's a better way to put it through. So I've got 3 pieces of romaine lettuce here, the long tall lettuce, which again have been really well washed. All I'm going to do with those is just kind of slice those in half. That should be enough to get through the juicer. There we go. See you in a moment. And then your celery, same with that, you just want long thin strips, and then the apple I'm going to cut kind of around the core so that goes through. Again, the machine probably would cope with it if I just put the core through, but I tend to kind of cut it out, to be honest. Okay, so if I start some of this going through, with the juicer, or this particular juicer, you've got two buckets, 2 tubs. So your juice is going to come out the one at the bottom here. And this is a very clever juicer because it kind of takes it through a couple of filters before it gets your juice out, so it's very clean, it's lovely, actually, it's really nice. And all your pulp comes out of this end, which you'll see in a moment, so that goes under there to collect the pulp. A lot of juicers come with a filter like this. Sometimes when you're juicing you get quite a lot of foam on top. Some people like it, some people don't. I don't mind it personally, but if you didn't want the foam, if you pop that underneath where your juice is going to come out, then you'll probably catch the majority of it in your filter. Okay, the only thing to watch with that is that if you're juicing quite a lot in one go, sometimes you can end up with quite a build-up of foam and then the juice won't go through, so you might need to just kind of rub it over with a spoon or empty your filter out if you're not going to use that for anything. So with the apples, let's do a couple of these. So I'm just going to cut it in kind of almost a square around the apple. These are Granny Smith apples. We actually are very lucky and have a tree in our front garden, and we've been using up all our apples. So it's wonderful. We've also got an amazing pear tree that my mum bought me, and we've had the most fruit off of it since, well, ever, I think, since we planted it this year, because obviously it's been that little bit hotter here in the UK, which is lovely, but obviously also a worry with the old global warming. It's only going to get worse, unfortunately, but that's a whole nother video. So let's start this going through. So I'm going to switch it on. You do have a plunger that you can use if some of the things get a bit stuck in your chute, and also, like, a lot of them just come like this, but this one has this kind of extra tray on the top with the hole, so it makes it a bit easier to push things through without them all falling around the side. So let's go in straight with our lemon first of all. You'll be able to see it grab onto it and take it through the chute. If it does get stuck, you can use your plunger to kind of nudge it down, but don't force things through a juicer. Absolutely wrong thing to do. Not only will you obviously potentially break some of your juicer, but it's not able to slowly juice the fruit, which is what I was saying before about it being a much better idea. So let's take that straight down. So we've got a bit more apple. And you can use pears, you can use red apples. I think you've really got to go with what you like, because otherwise you're not going to drink it. So don't, you know, necessarily copy everybody else's recipes part and part. Just choose the things that you like to eat. But green is definitely better. Green is the way to go. Go green in every aspect of your life. So you can see some of the juice coming out through the bottom on this one here, and the pulp. Pulp's all coming out this end. The way you can tell a really good juicer, by the way, is that your pulp is coming out dry, pretty dry at the end. Look, you can see my hands. It's all coming out really nice and dry. And again, don't waste that. If you have a dehydrator, and we're doing videos and things on that as well, you can use the pulp inside cookies, or even if you haven't got a dehydrator and you're making, I don't know, like apple tarts or anything like that really, even a sponge. I quite like to put it in Victoria sponges and things. You can use that. You know, it's already all squished up. You just put it in with your recipe to add that kind of background flavour, and of course it's all good for you, so no need to leave any of it out. So then goes the cucumber. It's quite fascinating to watch this juicer actually go round and round. There we go. Depending on the size of the stuff you're putting in, you might just need to give it a bit of a nudge, but as I say, don't ram it down the chute. There we go. Look at the colour going out through there. You might not be able to see quite so well through the plastic, but in a moment, I should pour it in a glass and you can see what it looks like. the softer stuff needs a bit more of a nudge to go through. Cucumber, celery, more cucumber. You can see it sort of taking about, I don't know, an inch at a time, and then taking it through because it is doing it slowly, it's not just ramming it all through. Kale or spinach in this as well is beautiful, so, but the thing is you've got to use good quality products. It's like anything, if you're making a cake, if you're not using the best ingredients, it's not going to be the best tasting cake. So you need to use the best things that you are able to get hold of. When I went down and had a look this morning, there just wasn't any fresh kale that I thought looked particularly nice. It was all looking a bit past its best, and I don't want to put that into my body, so I'm only buying the things that I think look best. There's a bit more lemon. Couple of pits in there, I think, but again, no problem for this machine. It just seems to chuck it all out the other end. And there goes your ginger, 2 pieces of ginger. Go down, chuck this other piece of celery in. There's lots of diets and things based around celery juice and things at the moment as well. It is good for you, obviously, not just celery juice. You need to mix it up with other bits and bobs as well. It's amazing drink if you're going to the gym. It's full of all sorts of things that are going to help you afterwards. So rather than drinking these sugar-filled, sort of cakey ingredients, oil-filled protein powders that you can buy, and you really do need, again, to read your packaging. Don't assume just because it's a protein mix that it's actually healthy for you. But a lot of those are not, so do check them. But you can't go wrong with things like this, with foods. With superfood powders, that's another good way of going. I tend to take a bottle to the gym of water with just super green powdered in. Again, depends whether I'm fasting or not, but that's something I can have when I'm fasting during the day. And then when I'm eating a bit later, I'll be getting all my other nutrients and things in as well. There we go, almost down through the chute. You want to kind of, if you're not used to ginger, I suggest you kind of build up with it because it can be, you know, quite a, I mean, you see them in the shops, like ginger shots that you can buy, and there might be a bit of a worry if you're not used to drinking ginger, so just have a small amount to start with and go from there. So as you can see, I've kind of cut around the cores, so they're just kind of a square core left. Oh no, that's the ginger, so that's everything in. Just wait for that last bit to go through. As you can see, his pulp still coming out the end there. But this is amazing, this stuff, really good. You know, don't throw it out. The only thing you can do is we have ducks, we've got rescue ducks, they're ex-laying ducks, and we give them some of this as well. So if we're not going to use it in, you know, cakes or cookies or anything like that, then I tend to throw it out in the garden. They sort of forage around for it, and because it's all green, it's all good stuff. It's stuff that all the ducks can have. If you're not sure what your animals can and can't eat, obviously be sure to look it up. Some things are potentially dangerous and poisonous to animals that we eat, so particularly if you give it to your dogs and cats and stuff like that. Right, let's get a glass. Bear with me. You want a nice big glass for your juice. Now, I quite like to put in a bit of extra water in mine. Water it down a little bit. So as you can see, I've got my glass filled here. It's about just under halfway of some water. I also tend to drink these out of the really big kind of like mason jar things as well. I don't know, it just makes it kind of feel a bit more exotic, if you like. But also you're drinking more liquid in one go. If you have to keep refilling it, a lot of people won't bother. They just drink that glass and stop. So those big jars are a good idea too. So look at all this amazing colour. I'm going to pour this in so you can see. Look at that. So there's still a little bit of foam left on the top. Now I don't mind the foam, but if you did, you can just get a spoon, scoop off the foam from the top. It's all good stuff really, but if you didn't want to, you've got there. And then if you're going to drink with a straw, make sure it's a bamboo straw, not a plastic straw. You can buy paper straws too, but these, I don't know, I quite like these. I went somewhere the other day, a vegan cafe, and they had metal ones, which I have to admit I just couldn't get on with. They seemed a bit kind of surgical to me, and I just was not comfortable drinking out of them. But I do like these. You can buy these on Amazon, all sorts of places. Again, you know, we don't sell them at the moment. We are looking into doing that, but for now you can find them everywhere, and they come in a variety of sizes, so you can get some really wide straws as well as narrow ones. All my kiddies use these, so it's a good idea to get some if you haven't already, or you can drink it out of a glass, of course. So, oh wow, I do crave these. On the days that I'm fasting, although it's only just a drink still, I do crave these because it's just the green for me. I don't know, I have cut out sugars and everything, and my body just craves green. And how fab is that? You know, we don't want to crave sugar. We don't want to think, oh, I'm just going to go and have one of those buns, or, you know, a ready meal that's loaded with stuff. You know, you want to be eating good, wholesome stuff, plant-based, healthy stuff. And this is it. So enjoy. Green juice. I've drunk most of it. I shall have a little bit later on. It keeps really well in the fridge for a few days, so you know, don't be afraid to make it ahead of time if you're worried about not having enough time to stand there with juice in the morning and then going off and eating or drinking something you shouldn't. So pop it in you know, a tub, a mason jar, a lock and lock type Tupperware thing or something, and pop it in the fridge. It'll be fine, no problem at all. So this particular juicer, as I said, I really like. It's starting to drip juice. I really like this one, but one of the reasons I really like it is because of the cleaning. As I mentioned, some of the other ones, I remember having one years ago, and it had, I don't know, about sort of like, felt like about 20 parts that you had to take apart, chuck in the dishwasher, you know, rinse the filter with your hands, you know, it was just all complete palaver. Whereas this one, I find really easy to clean. So I'll show you how it comes apart, and then you'll know as well if you're tempted to go in and buy one if you don't have anything. So take your plunger out, and the tray thing that comes off the top, and then on the side here, you probably can't see, but it says open and close, so obviously it's closed because it's all fixed in the moment. If you decided to open, then this whole unit comes out, okay? And then, so, it's getting so easy, this unit just comes off of there, and that comes out of there, and that's all you do. Now what I tend to do is these bits here, I'll kind of pop those bits either in with the ducks stuff or the stuff I'm using with my baking. Just give this, which is the filter, the two different filters on here, a bit of a rinse on the tap, and then you can either just wash it up super fast and reassemble it and put it back together in a couple of minutes, or you can chuck it in the dishwasher. Either way, it's nice and easy. So to put back together, it's 1, 2, 3. Chuck it in there, closed, ta-da, you're done. You know, it's a really simple machine to use, and it is one of the reasons I love it, because if you do get a piece of equipment that's quite difficult to use, or there's loads of parts and you just cannot be bothered to get it out the cupboard and do all of that, so choose something that's nice and easy. A lot of stores have them on sort of demonstration on the benches, so if you go to some of the bigger stores like John Lewis or I don't know, you know, any of the other larger ones, they'll, you know, if they haven't got one out from demonstration, they may well do that if you ask them. So do ask, because again, it's quite an investment. This particular machine is about £300. There are, as I say, there are cheaper ones, and that might be all you can go with for now, and that's fine, because at least you're getting all this goodness in you. But if you can see it working, it's a good idea. The other thing is things like shopping channels. A lot of them obviously show you how to use them. They actually have them out, don't they? They do videos about, you know, what you can do with it and how to clean it and everything, and that's a good thing to watch as well, to make you make your mind up as to which one you'd like to buy. But for me, I have to say it's this one. Alright, take care. Remember to watch the rest of our videos. We've got more juicing ones. We also have a lot of ones that are done with a blender, high-speed blenders, and also not so high-speed if you can't afford one of those. There's cake recipes, cookies, dehydrator recipes, cheese sauces, you know, raw cheese sauces that you can actually make in your blender and things as well. So check us out on our YouTube channel at A Very Nice Vegan. And also, if you'd like to be a very nice vegan, we do still have our cups now on sale at £10 each. Postage is really cheap. I think it's about a couple of quid or something in the UK as well. If you'd like to buy one of those, go to our website, averynicevegan.co.uk. Take care. See you soon. Bye.